Steph, when I say football moves pretty fast, it seems pretty surreal. Suddenly, after being ridden off a few weeks ago, you guys are almost back in the hunt.
Yeah, I think probably inside the four walls at the training ground, we felt like we were on the right path. The results weren't coming, but also, just because you give 100% for 2 or 3 games, you probably don't deserve to win straight away. And now in the last 3 games, I think the work that we did do in January and February is kind of we're getting rewarded for it. So we've got 4 games to go, and we're extremely confident, no matter who we come up against, that we'll be able to match them and win games.
Obviously, for your own personal form, getting amongst the goals, it was pretty remarkable performance. How good is that, your resilience from kind of 2-0 down?
Yeah, it was a very, very hot game. So it was one of those ones, as soon as you go out for the warm-up, you're thinking it's going to be tough and we need to make sure we start well. And I actually thought we did start okay, and then we conceded the first goal, which was disappointing. And then you concede the second goal and you think, like, this is pretty horrible. Perth obviously weren't playing for too much besides pride, but we turned it around, and it probably shows the difference in the group. Maybe 6-7 weeks ago you lose that 3 or 4-0, and instead we come back to win 4-2, and it gives us more belief within ourselves that we're on the right track, and we just need to keep on improving.
What's changed in that time? You say, a couple of weeks ago that might have been different. What's changed?
I think just the message, I guess, from Cole and probably the players themselves has taken a little bit more on board that, we need to be more of a team. We need to be collectively putting in 100%, and that the effort is the bare minimum, to be honest, at this level. And we've got good players. We've got players that can make the difference in obviously Nesta and Zach and Isuzu. So we just needed to get the other stuff right. And now I think we've probably got the starting 11, consistently for the last 3 weeks has been the same, which is always good as well. And then the players coming off the bench know exactly what they need to do. So it's not anything too crazy, but I think when you get everyone playing for each other, it makes a big difference.
You mentioned Nesta, he singled you out after the hat-trick. Were you surprised? Have you got a good relationship with him? Have you gone out of your way to try to help him?
I guess I was captain when he first came through, so I tried to help him out as much as possible, and been away for a couple of years and come back, and he probably maybe liked a familiar face coming back, and I'm playing on the right side there, similar and close to him. So I guess we can connect quite well, and I'll do the defensive side of things for him because I know he won't get back, and it just means that he has to produce when he goes forward, and he's been doing that. So yeah, I think he's sometimes misunderstood, and sometimes his emotions get the better of him. But we have to remember he's a young kid that's had the weight of Australian football on his shoulders for probably the last 2-3 years. And he's going to have ups and downs, but he's coming good at the right time of the season.
Cole mentioned the other night that maybe Nesta gets to do things that upset other people, but that's the way it is. Do the playing group understand that and take on board that, okay, maybe Nesta doesn't have to do everything we have to do, but when he plays like that, then guys, that's just too bad? Yeah,
it's a tough one, I think, because as a playing group, you want to set your standards and you want to have kind of those non-negotiable things, whether it's on the field or off the field, and everybody needs to buy into it, including Nesta. We have an internal fine system, which I guess he's probably contributed a lot towards, so he'll be paying for the Mad Monday, which is good for the rest of us. Maybe the media can come down as well. But we expect him, I guess, if he isn't going to defend as much, that going forward he has to produce. And that's the same anywhere in the world. I'm not comparing him to, an Mbappe or Messi or Neymar, but, the best players in those teams, if they're going to probably, not track back as often as the other players, they have to produce. And, the last couple of games he's done that. So I just kind of said to him, let us know when you're not coming back, so at least we can kind of get the cover over there. And the other players have probably just realised, he's not going to come back. We need to make sure that we do the defensive stuff for him, because he can do things like he did on the weekend with a couple of assists.
Just on the Ollie Roos stuff, he scored the hat-trick. He had a brilliant game again on the weekend. Does he have a little chip on his shoulder now after that he missed out on that squad? I know since then there was conversations that did he want to come after an injury, and everyone collectively decided that it was better for him to stay here. But do you think that has motivated him, or maybe made him realise, okay, maybe I haven't been doing as well as I should be?
Potentially. I actually haven't spoken to him directly about that. From a personal point of view, I'm glad he's not going, because it means we get to see him here at Cooper Stadium on Friday night. and for the last 3 games he's playing for Adelaide United, which is exciting. But as players, and you'd know as well, Robbie, you know, sometimes you need to use external factors to get you motivated, and can kind of use that as fire to make you play better, whether he's used that or not. But you know, it's not the first time he's going to probably not make a squad in his career. So he needs to be used to that and use that as, whether it's something that he can use as motivation. Great if he does for these last 4 games leading into the finals.
When that initial announcement came out last week, how were you surprised? What was your initial reaction?
I wouldn't say I was surprised. I think, obviously, you know, I'm not in the selection process, and Tony Vidmar's a very qualified coach, so he's picking the players he thinks are going to help him qualify for the Olympics. He's come out with his reasons of why he hasn't chosen Nesta. We have to respect that and just get on with it. He's young enough that he can, you know, go to the next Olympics, or he can still go to this one potentially anyway. But I think the Olympics is a great platform for players to get moves overseas as well. Nesta's already got to move to Bayern Munich, so maybe his focus, to be honest, is on getting to Bayern Munich for pre-season and playing really well. And the Olyroos stuff is great, but he should be aiming a lot higher for the Socceroos anyway.
Obviously, the hat-trick here last time out, but his performance on the weekend and the 2 assists, particularly the nature of those 2 assists where he went on good runs and then played them off, is that almost more, for a player like him, more important to show that he's developing?
Yeah, I guess so. I think he has to realise he's not always going to be able to dribble and score. Sometimes, you know, when he gets the ball, he's got 2 or 3 defenders on him, which means there's probably space elsewhere for other attacking players. And the older he gets, the more mature he gets, the more he'll realise that. And he can play 1 and 2 touch just as good as anyone else. So he doesn't need to use his energy up all the time trying to dribble past players. But, you know, he can do everything. It's just really up to him as an individual what he sees best to do on the field, and he has that license, you know, in that attacking third to do whatever he sees fit.
Macarthur on Friday night. What did you guys learn from playing them? Obviously, you've already played them twice this season. What have you guys learned from that?
I wasn't here personally, but I think, you know, as a team, they're attacking, prowess with De Villa and Jermaine and Raphael. They're very good, so they're going to score goals if you probably don't keep the ball and if you're defensively not well structured. I think probably when we played them earlier in the year compared to where we are now, it's a completely different side, even though there's a lot of the same players for us. So we will go out there, trying to play the exact same way. Defensively, we need to make sure that we're, limiting their players getting on the ball, but we know we can also hurt them going forward the other way.
What drew you back to Adelaide United? Obviously, you've mentioned that you've gone away and you've come back. What drew you back to this club?
I think when you're from Adelaide, to be honest, it's we grew up supporting this club. It's a really special place. I won the championship here, and then when I came back the next time, I was captain here, and I didn't really want to go anywhere else in Australia. So it was kind of a no-brainer, and you feel probably why it hurts so much when you're losing or when things aren't going well. It hurts a bit more because you're a fan as well of the club. But I want the club to have success. I want that next generation to be inspired by the likes of Nesta, and if I can help do that as well by winning games and getting us another championship, then that's a job well done by us as players.
Just forging that relationship with Nesta, is that something that you came in and you went out of your way to do that, or is that something that Carl maybe gave you the responsibility to do and say he needs some more senior guidance, someone who's played overseas to maybe just kind of coach him through certain moments?
No, not really. I guess I talk a lot, and Nesta's someone that does need a hand around the shoulder sometimes, and a pat on the back when he does things good, and sometimes a little bit of words of advice when he does something wrong. And on the field, to be honest, that's the most important thing, as long as he produces there, and that's kind of just what I've tried to say to him. And it's easy for me if I can get the ball and see him making a forward run, the defender's never going to catch him. So as long as I can put it in space for him, he's going to hurt them and make me look good at the same time.
And Lucas touched on the assists on the weekend that he had. The second assist, there was a similar scenario against West United here, where you kind of broke forward as a 2v2. He almost found you, then you got it right on Sunday. Is that something that maybe you guys have worked on together to try and hey Nesta, try and spot my forward runs a little bit more?
I actually spoke to him after the game. I said, I think I hit my top speed trying to catch up to you for the Western United one, and you overhit it. And he said, oh no, I'm so sorry, it was such a bad pass, it bobbled up. So yeah, probably it's something he's worked on. And yeah, like I said, if he's dribbling with the ball, he does attract defenders. So 2 defenders go to him, there's going to be space elsewhere, and we need to be able to recognise that as the other attacking players. And fortunately enough, he was able to make the pass, and I think that was a really important moment as well to go 3-2 up in the game just before half time.
And for yourself as well, I think the last couple of performances have probably been your better ones since you've returned. Is there something you've noticed recently about maybe your fit with the team, the relationship with Hiroshi, has maybe contributed to that? Or?
Yeah, I think coming in halfway through the year was always hard. I was fit because I was doing a lot of work outside of football related stuff, but when you start playing games it's completely different, and then I started to feel a little bit better, and then I got sick just prior to the Wellington game, missed the victory game, and then it took a little bit of time to kind of get back up to speed again. So I'm just disappointed there's only 4 games to go in the season, because I'm feeling quite good now, so I'm hoping we can make the finals and play a few more games at least.
How much are you looking at the ladder? Because now, after the weekend's results, there's suddenly a logjam between, I think, like 5 teams. So does that factor in your conversations at all, or is it just one game at a time?
Yeah, we are talking about one game at a time, but I think it'd be wrong to say that players don't look at the ladder. Of course, you're always looking at the ladder, whether it's round 1 or round 20, 23, 24, whatever we are. But we know it's actually in our control. If we win all 4 games, we'll make finals 100%. Potentially we can draw one of those, maybe get to 38 points, but then you're really relying on other teams not picking up a lot of points. So our focus is Macarthur Friday night, win that, and then we focus on the Tuesday game against Western United.
How's your academy going, Steve?
Yeah, good. Yeah, really good. It's good to come back here and actually be able to, I guess, get amongst the local schools and give back in another way and coach some young kids. And yeah, we've got an upcoming holiday clinic, which is going to be great. Last time we had Charlie Grant out there, which was amazing, especially on the back of the Women's World Cup, to see the amount of girls that stopped by to come to the sessions, and even people on the street that just stopped by for an autograph. So maybe I might have to ask Nesta to come out for this one to boost the numbers.